Si ella dijo. Jerónimo. ¿Es en vivo por YouTube? ¿Me sale?
Yes, it is in YouTube, Laura. I'm creating the link right now. I'm gonna send it to the group.
Teacher, we have 5 minutes, right?
No, we're going to start right now. In this exact moment.
No, for the presentation.
Oh, you should. Your presentation should be at least 5 minutes long. If it goes a little longer, that is not a problem. As long as it is not 1 hour long, of course. But you can take around 10 minutes to do it as maximum, and that should be alright. But minimum should be 5 minutes, of course. Alright guys, it is already 6:50 p.m. so we're gonna get started with the final presentations of the upper intermediate D levels. I want to remind the people who are watching from other classrooms or from their houses, I want you guys to take into account that this is the last presentation of all the mandatory levels of the Colombo. So during this presentation, we're going to be able to hear, to see the communicative abilities of students who have completed all the progress at the Colombo. So if you guys are watching from an intermediate level or upper intermediate A, you guys will be able to see what English sounds by the end of all of this progress. All right. Today we're going to have around 10 presentations where you guys will be listening to several topics. You will be able to learn something new about different professions, or about an interesting movie or book, or about a topic of interest in the world, something that is happening in this moment in planet Earth that this year guys want to talk about with you. So with no further ado, first, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your time to, well, watch these presentations. We're going to have the first presentation of the night by Diego Alejandro Osorio. He's going to be talking about a very interesting book that is called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. So I give the stage to you, Diego. Please go on.
Teacher, you can listen me?
I can hear you, yes, that's right.
Oh, okay, yes. I think my internet is bad. Yeah, I'm recovering my connection. Okay.
All right, that is perfect. We can listen to you just clearly now.
Okay. I went to short. Okay, you can see the screen?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. We should change our lifestyle. Hello, everyone. I got to speak about the experience of a man who changed his lifestyle. His story is told in an interesting book of personal growth called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Okay, have you ever read the book The monk who sold his Ferrari by Robin Sharma. The story starts with Julian Mantelet. He was a professional. He worked all his life and he bought a lot of properties. But he had a problem. He didn't rest. And to Julian, the money and his possessions were the most important. One day, while Julian was working, he felt a pain in his heart and fell the floor. Fortunately, he survived, but he learned an important lesson to his life. He decided that his life needed a change. For this reason, he traveled to India and he understood some techniques and recommendations to change his lifestyle to find peace and stability in your life. I would like to share the most important techniques and recommendations from this book. First is creating a change from the inside. You should think positively, and it's important to feel a change from the inside. Because with this sensation, you can attract the good things to your life. Second recommendation is living in the present moment. You should enjoy each situation, each moment with your family, with your friends, and also in your job. Recent studies told people think in other things, and they are doing an activity at the current time. For example, people use your cell phones all the time at parties, at celebrations, with family or friends. It is incredible, and it is bad for people. For this reason, it's important enjoying each moment, each situation with your friends and families and your job. Third recommendation: time to relax. It's important time to relax, find peace and tranquility. For example, it's interesting if you read a book, find peace and to increase your knowledge. It's interesting if you walk for the nature, find tranquility and serenity. And it's interesting if you ride bicycle with some friends. And if you speak with family or friends, you can have an excellent life. Finally, it's important to create a balance in your life between work and life. People should think in in distribute the time between work and time to relax correctly. To find happiness and stability. I invite you that you create a change in your life to find stability and happiness in your life. Okay, finish.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Diego. That was an amazing presentation. You were speaking about the importance of having life balance, you know, just taking into account that you're living your own life and that you have to take the time to lead it and to understand what is happening. Everything you were saying is just great pieces of advice to lead a better life. So thank you very much for those pieces of recommendation. And I will send you a comment in the private chat with my feedback on your presentation, some recommendations, as well as your grade. So just give me a second. And in this moment, we are getting prepared for the next presentation of the night. Right there, you can find your message, Diego. In this moment, we're gonna get ready to go on with the next presentation of this night. We're going to have a presentation by Jerónimo Murillo. Jero will be talking about cyber attacks. Cyber attacks. So, well, thank you very much, Diego. And in this moment, I leave the stage to Jero.
Okay. So let me share the screen. You can see it.
Yes, you can see it, all right.
Okay. So, are we prepared for cyber attacks? Or we can't do the question again. Are you prepared for cyber attacks? So, my name is Jerónimo Murillo Narváez. I am from Centro Colombia Americano. And I am going to talk about the cyber attacks. This is going to be the agenda. This is all the topics that we are going to see. The first is, what is a cyber attack? The second, how it is like in our society. And the third one, how we can fight. Okay. Also, we are going to see some examples, and I'm going to show you a interesting server. It's a page. Okay. So we're going to start with the first. What is a cyber attack? So in this presentation, I put a little definition of Google, but I'm going to explain with an example. All of us, like minimum, have one social media, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all of them, right? And in this social, we share a lot of things, like food, our transport, like bicycle, our photos about our family, a lot of things that we can share. But the problem in this is the cyber attack means that people with bad purpose attack the private information of the people, and they select or they see the information and they can do a lot of things. Okay, so right now I'm going to explain example. This person on this company is famous. I think all of us know who is this. Okay, this is called Anonymous. We know that it's a company that hacked information about companies and persons. Okay, and he's so famous because they do a big hack in all the world, I can say. So this is the good example. I put two persons, famous persons, but in a bad way. And these persons I am not doing a politician event or other things. No, it's only for the example. For you can see that we have Juan Manuel Santos and Uribe, and in the left, no, in the right, we can see a logo. Yes. And it's a Twitter, okay? And Anonymous, this company that we see before, he hacked the Twitter of these two persons and put this message. I'm sorry for the English, Spanish, but this is like the message is with this. Realmente nos liberamos de nuestros opresores o simplemente cambiamos de nombres y de políticas. This is the message that Anonymous put in their Twitters. Okay, so very interesting because in this moment we are in a we are select a president and it have a relation. So we're going to continue with the second part. How is it like in our society? All the people, like I said before, have social media, but they sometimes don't want to share private information that a party that doesn't good enough or a food that it doesn't like it. I don't know. It's a lot of things that private information. Another that is more bad, like pornographic photos or other things. So the problem this is the people that had or affect the person can do a software. I mean, they do a code in a program special for these things and put in a document, in a PDF, in a video games and all of these things. And we don't notice that when we download these documents, probably we will have two problems with these things because we don't know if our security or no. So the pre-information is a little bit more difficult in this time. So for that, I'm going to show you a page that I mentioned it in the beginning of the presentation, this page. Let me put it in Google. Okay. This is the software, okay? The software that was created by people that want to show to others the numbers of cyber attacks in the world, okay? So look, you can see that it's a world. Imagine it, the world, different countries, Canada, United States, Mexico, China, and all of them, okay? But why is it special this? Because you look this. For example, we're going to see a United States. Is this part of the world in the south, okay? Oh, also it's important to know that this program is in real time. All the data is in this moment, is amazing. So why, that is the reason that I love this page. So for example, United States, that you can see, I don't know, let me do something first because I don't know if you have to present this. Okay, right now let me do something. Okay, you can see in the world that have some connection, like a blue, but I don't know. See, like blue or other things. Okay, so where is, I don't know what happened, but it have to be like colors in all the United States, like red, green, yellow, and blue, in all of these colors, but I don't know what happened. But look, in the left of my screen, you can see some special words, but I am not going to explain you because it's a little difficult to understand, and Also, I don't understand yet, so it's a little bit more difficult. But you can see that in the next of the special name have a number like one, oh, 1,1300. Okay, it's changed, okay, because it's not a real time. But it's all this application or this page are in all the sides of the world. For example, we can see, like for example, in this is Alemania, and you can see in this point are a group of blues. Okay, so that means that have a most traffic of information and cyber attacks. So this is an interesting page that explain a little bit more our topic. So let me going back to the presentation. Okay. This, yeah. Okay, this is the page. And we're in the chair right now. And the topic is how we can fight it, okay? So we can see or we can anticipate some things, but I have to say something. We are not always going to stop, or we're not going to be protect all the time. No, sometimes like anonymous have good experience, and that means that they can hack whatever that they want. For example, the NASA or of the government. I don't know. They can't hack whatever they want, but we can protect a little bit more our information about us, our where we live, where we put in the internet. Okay, so for example, the documents games application, these always have some malware, and when we download we see a superficial area. Okay, we see like this part, this is the front, but we don't see that in this part are all information that can be more danger for our computer, for our information, or a lot of things. Okay, so for example, like in this part I put directions. I put in a wrong way. I'm sorry. I do a mistake in this part, but that I mean is, for example, in our picture in Instagram, we can see that has the possibility to share the direction of our where we are. For example, if we are in I don't know, in the Bosque Popular, we can upload that image and we can put the direction, and that means that other people like our friends, our family can see it, but other people with bad things or bad a purpose can see and do wrong things, and a lot of things that can be not can affect us in a lot of things. And the conclusion, okay? In this presentation, we see the meaning of the cyber attack, the problems that the cyber attacks are in our society, and the solution that we can do. These are some references that I select of the information, and no more. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for your great presentation, Angelo. I think what you're talking about is very important, because in this era of communication, it is our information is more valuable than money, even. So it is important to know what are the different attacks that we can be a victim of and how to avoid them. So that is amazing. Thank you very much for your presentations and for your presentation and your tips on how to avoid cyber attacks. I'm going to send you a private message in the private message in the chat for you to know my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. For now, from the people that are watching at home, thank you very much for taking your time to watch these presentations. These people at home, you guys can see the communicative skills that a student in upper intermediate D has developed during these last years of instruction. So it is very good to see the way in which they can argument ideas and support their arguments with real information. For now, we will continue with the next presentation of the night, and this presentation will be given by David Espitia. He will talk about the movie Avatar. David, the stage is yours. Please go on. David, I think your microphone is off.
All right, so I'm going to present about Avatar. But first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is David. And well, let's begin. So the main question is, how revolutionary was Avatar for the film industry? As you must know, this film was released in 2009. To create this film, the best technology was required by the time it was released. Through this essay, I will answer this question, and I will talk also about the technology that James Cameron implemented, the world of Pandora, and finally, I will express my opinion of this masterpiece. So here we have two famous films. This one of here is Avengers Endgame, that now at this right moment is the most watched film, but this place before belonged to Avatar. It took 10 years to create a better film that is Avenger, right? Now we have here Avatar, and I'm going to explain why this film was so revolutionary. First of all, as I mentioned before, the best technology was required to shoot this blockbuster. Here we have hundreds of cameras that record her face, and the information was uploaded to a computer, right? And here we have a sketch that later it became this, that it is a photorealistic thing. To create this movie, they use headgears equipped with this tiny camera that it is in front of the actor's face that record their emotions, and it's transmitted to the computer. So as the actors perform, the camera transmitted facial movements that were put later in those virtual characters. Also, we have here that they create like a device to imitate flying on an ikran, that is this animal right here. By the way, to create this film, it cost $400 million, obviously, because this technology was so new by the time it was shot. So, I mean, 2009, and we have this masterpiece of right here. Well, I'm going to talk about the world of Pandora. First of all, obviously, we have to talk about the humanoids, the humanoid race that lives in this world, Pandora. Here we have some characteristics of this new race, such as the failing ears, distinctive hands, and the fed first, the night vision, and skin stripes. Something curious is that I think that these stripes are pretty unique, very similar as the zebras. You know that if a zebra have a pattern of stripes, there doesn't exist any other that have the same. So it is just like our fingerprint. I love also how James Cameron developed a whole world with a whole history, with a whole race, the flora and fauna. And also it is pretty interesting how he created a new language, that is the Navy language. Something curious also is that you can learn it on these websites. Okay, so here we have the flora. We're going to start by this one of here, that is the home tree, that, as its name says, is where this clan lives. Then we have the tree of souls, that is a pretty important place. It's a religious place of this race. Then we have the wood sprite, that according to the plot of this film are the seeds of this tree. Also, the wood sprites are sacred spirits. So that is why it is so important in their religious and related to Hvac, that is the mother nature. Then we have the tree of voices, that is a place where they can connect with their ancestors and they can hear them talk. And the whole world, something that I love the most is that they have bioluminescence. So it's pretty wonderful landscapes and biomes. Then we have the fauna. Here we have the great Leonopteryx, or Turukmakturu in Navi. That means the last shadow. Then we have this one of here, that is the mountain banshee, also known as Ikran. That is the one the Navy's right. And we have the viper wolf and Thanator. This one, the Thanator, is on the top of the food chain because, man, it's a big carnivorous animal. Then, in my opinion, it is a masterpiece. As I mentioned before, I like a lot this movie because it doesn't matter how many times I watch it, I feel like the first time I watch it. And yeah, it made me feel so excited, and I really want to be in this world, in Pandora. Okay, so thank you so much. In conclusion, I have answered the question. We have talked about the world of Pandora, the technology, and why this film was so revolutionary for the film industry, and my opinion. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your great presentation, David. So it is very good to see how this movie changed the world of movies. I personally, I have never watched Avatar. When it just was released, I know that there was a huge boom around that movie. Couldn't really understand why that was that way, but now that you're talking about all of these, aspects, like the creation of a new language, like the creation of a new world in cinema, I can kind of understand now why it was such an important moment on movie history. Now, for now, I'm going to send you a private message in the chat for you to see my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. Thank you very much for your presentation on that great movie. And now we're going to move on with a presentation by Angelica. She will be talking about a movie as well. The name is Hvac, the movie. So Angelica, the stage is yours. Please go on.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my screen. Okay. 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 Good afternoon. Good evening, sorry. Good evening. My name is Angelica Bastidas. I am a student in upper D level. And tonight, I'm going to ask you a question. The question is, if God sent you a letter to meet him, would you come to this meeting? Well, I know that in this world where spirituality seems to be more and more irrelevant, it is easy to skip this topic. But in fact, I'm going to connect this question to a movie that I watched some months ago. So, let me see. Okay, the movie was called Hvac. It was written by W. Paul Young, and it's a bestseller. It's taken or it's based on the worldwide bestseller, right? It is a nice. It was a nice movie, and I'm going to tell you more or less about the context of the movie. It is about the family. This family is the Phillips family. I don't know if you can see the Phillips family. So he is Mac or Mackenzie Phillips, the father. She is Nan, his wife. He is Josh, the older son. She is Kate, the middle or the second daughter. And this is the adorable younger daughter, Missy. Okay. As you can see, it's a normal family, a happy family, a very devoted family. And Mackenzie also was born and raised in a very Catholic family. That's why they have some principles and some rules like going to the church, praying, etc. Right? But let's see. One day, that happened to Mackenzie, and that is the thrill of the story. Mackenzie had a special event that was really representative. So this was what happened to Mackenzie one day when his younger daughter, Missy, disappeared during a family tree. Later on, she was found, it was evidence. There was evidence that she was brutally assassinated and was found in an abandoned shack in the woods. So, as you know, imagine his reaction. Being a devoted man, so he started to feel or to consider that this act was a radical injustice from God's part. So he started to rebel against God, and he started to feel a sense of guilt, right? That's why the movie solved two important questions. The first one, where is God? Where is God in this indescribable world? And the second, what is the God's role when people suffer a terrible loss? So let's see what happened to Mackenzie and how we can connect the spirituality to this movie. So the first question, where is God in this indescribable world? Why? Because when people look around, everything that people can see is pain, poverty, diseases, death, corruption, and also depression. So people tend to say what happened? Where is God? If everything is like that, right? So the author talked about the human perspective of living in a different world with wonderful conditions, and also not denying that we or humans deserve what they get. They get what they deserve. It means when we take or when we make good decisions, we get positive results. But when we make bad decisions, we just get negative results, right? So where is God? It depends on what kind of decisions we make. Yes. For example, if we make good choices, for example, studying, preparing yourself, going to university, having healthy habits, eating well, exercising, etc., so you are going to have positive results, you know. But when you have, or when you make bad choices, like eating unhealthy food, smoking, drinking, or having bad associations, so you don't get good results, but instead of that, you receive all the negative results. In the case of Mackenzie, it wasn't the decisions he made. It was like external things, conditions, you know, that are what people around the world, and that happened to him. But for that case, he rebelled against God and started judging God's decision or God's points of view. Yeah, that was what happened to him. But for the second question, what is God's role when people suffer a terrible loss? Well, we can see that, or Mackenzie could see that he need, first of all, learn to forgive themselves, forgive himself, or ask for the God's forgiveness. And what is the reason? Because he needed to heal the wounds or the pain he felt in his soul and body because of his daughter's death. So he started to understand that even when God feels wrath, is not the reason why God punishes us. No, the thing is that when we make mistakes or make bad decisions, of course, there are negative effects. Or, as I said before, is because we live in a world that is polluted or has a world that is contaminated. Yes, and we can do anything about it. But it's not God's fault, okay? Because God is love. And generally, people do not think that God loves them or that we can trust him, but we can do that. Something that I learned from the movie is that God, not the way we think, is the same way as God thinks, the way God thinks. Why? Because God knows the whole picture. He knew everything, but we don't. So he knows when to act and when to help and how, you know. So that is something that Mackenzie learned there or in the movie. Okay. So the conclusion could be, according to what the movie showed me, is that the author showed how important it is for people to learn to forgive, not only themselves, but also other people, because the whole world needs forgiveness. In that way, we can live we can live free from that, from all the pain, from all the guilty we feel in our bodies and in our minds and souls, if we start forgiving people. Yeah. At the end of the movie, Mackenzie realized how much God loved him, and he could feel that, and he could overcome that obstacle. And that part made me think about it, and how much do I include God in my decisions in order to be, I don't know, happy or to have better results. And that is something I want you to give it a thought, please. Try to do it. Meanwhile, there is time to do that. And also, why not? You can watch the movie too. It is interesting. And believe me, it's not only spirituality, it is also peace. And it is also think about the out of the box. Think about the way God think. Okay. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation, Angelica. I think it is a very interesting topic when you need to find that reassurance of what, you know, God can be and how it can help you in your life. So once again, thank you very much for your presentation. To the people watching in class or at home, thank you very much for taking your time to watch these presentations. Once again, with these presentations, you guys will be able to see the level, the communicative skills that you guys will be able to get by upper intermediate D. So you guys can see the ease with which my students can communicate their ideas and create logical arguments and ideas. Well, Angelica, I'm going to send a message to you in the private chat for you to see my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. So once again, thank you very much for your presentation. And now we're going to continue with the next presentation of the night. Now, this presentation will be given by, let me check, Flor. She's going to be talking about her profession, I'm sorry, which is accounting. So thank you very much, Flora, and please get the stage. Go on.
Yes, teacher. Hello, I am Flor Rios. Let's talk about accounting profession in Colombia. Right now in Colombia, like the rest of the world, many things are changing, mainly when we talk about technology, because we are in the digital era. But have you ever wondered how it influences in the way different professions are developed, especially in careers with high student demand in our country as the accounting profession? Let's talk about the influence of technological development on these professionals. Accounting functions. Many functions related to accounting profession are repetitive and limited to mathematical calculations to determine and record numerical data. Because of that, these functions are configurable in different technological programs, eliminating the work of having to do calculations and replacing these functions for the professional. Digital age. Due to the development of technology, many tasks can be automated, and thanks to the engineers, for example, different programs have been created that prepare people's tax returns, avoiding people from having to hire an account because they don't need one to sign. For example, in Colombia exists a program called Tributi. Tributi work with Bancolombia for customers of Bancolombia can be free. For example, in order to present income statement. This presentation is once year, and in Tributi, if you are customer of Bancolombia, can be free, and if you are not client of Bancolombia, can be cheaper than hire and professional account. Company needs. Currently, companies looking workers with capacity for adapt to new technologies and use them to make easier their jobs and dedicate their time to analyze and create strategies that allow advance and skill in the market. Operative workers can be each time more replaced for robots or programs that can make their labors. In accounting profession, it's necessary to have the capacity for analyze the status of the companies, carry out audit work and tax planning in order to help the company to be more efficient. In conclusion, accounting profession can survive to the technological change if the professional has the capacity for adapt and renovate his role in the company, put the focus in mainly aspects as audit, analysis, and key strategies helping the company to improve. In addition, it's very important to mention that accounting professional can be applied to any kind of company, because all companies need to have administration that can lead by an accounting professional, mainly finance, planning, administrative areas, due to the education is focused on create professionals more capable and strategic, no specific operative topics, and accounting is not limited to the accounting of a company, is many people think. For example, in my case, I studied accounting, public accounting, but in this moment, I am analyst, financial analyst. I work as planning and analysis data and help to the company in different process, not necessary in accountant area. In all of the companies, we can apply our knowledge. No more, teacher. Thanks.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation, dear Flor. It is always good to learn about other professions and really see what they are about. You know, when we work on different fields, we don't really understand how other professions may work, and sometimes we get the wrong ideas of what they usually are about. So it is always good to see the perspective from a person that is in real life applying those concepts. Thank you very much for your presentation. Once again, I'm going to send you a comment in the private chat with my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. Well, for now, guys, we're going to continue with the next presentation of the night, which is that will be done by Juan Diego Hoyos. He's going to be talking about the moorlands. When we talk about moorlands, we're talking about páramos. So this is a topic that is very connected, very much connected to our own geography and our, living in Manizales. So Juan Diego, the stage is all yours. Please go on. Juan Di, are you there?
Yeah, teacher. Give me a moment. Okay, you can see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, good night, everyone. During the presentation, I will have the camera turned off because of my internet connection. So my name is Juan Diego Hoyos, and my presentation is entitled "Why Are the Moorlands Being Lost in Colombia?" In this presentation, we will talk about the importance of the moorlands, the ecosystem services they provide, the consequence deterioration they are suffering, and what is causing their depletion. Okay, we continue with this question: deterioration of the moorlands, natural or anthropic cause. Speaking in general about the moorlands, we can say that a component of great importance for water production are the moorlands. These are considered as water factories because being in high and humid areas, they become favorable places to be water source. In Colombia, the moorlands are located in the three mountain ranges in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, representing for 17% of the world's moorlands. We supply 70% of the country. The moorland areas have numerous wetlands, but these are being affected by different processes, such as the constant dumping of domestic use water, the dumping of water from agriculture activities, and the invasion of coast, which generates soil erosion and therefore directly affects the wetland and the space that compose it. Okay, so why is the situation of the moorlands? The moorlands play a very important role when it comes to evaluating the ecosystem services they offer to humanity. They become decisive when it comes to water supply, diversity of flora and fauna. In addition, the moorlands help to mitigate climate change. In what way? By regulating atmospheric carbon. As for anthropic activities, these are largely one of the activities that act directly on the stability and increasing decrease of water bodies, bringing as a consequence the reduction of the goods and services that these can offer in a irreversible way. Okay, these ecosystems are not giving the value they deserve, and we can see this reflected in the lack of control by the authorities and in the activities that take place around them. Okay, all these affect social process with the communities that live in these areas, economic, with the maybe industries that want to carry out extraction process, and finally for the environment with the deterioration of the ecosystem. Okay, now we will talk about a very important factor in this topic, global warming. It is one of the most damaging factors for these small areas. It is a fairly natural factor since human activity influence the increase of the plant's temperature. Emissions of different gases into the atmosphere have brought with them a consequence that is noted over time. Since in the last 100 years, the global average temperature has increased by 0.76. Maybe in carbon dioxide is the main greenhouse gas. although methane and nitrous oxide, much more potent greenhouse gas, are also causing global warming. Climate change is undoubtedly another major threat to the moorland because as a result of the increasing global temperature, the moorland area will also rise, losing much of its extension and capacity to produce water. Okay, now speaking more specifically about anthropogenic activities, specific actions such as deforestation, mining, tourism, agriculture, and cattle ranching, the latter being one of the most damaging activities to the moorlands, are causing the most damage. Mm, Not to mention the lack of control by the authorities regarding the delimitation of the wetlands area. The inhabitants use the land and water network for these activities, generating contamination of the surrounding river networks and creating soil erosion. All of these activities mm, are part of the process of deterioration of the moorlands due to human activity. Many of them due to take lack for knowledge of the people who live there. As another problem is the degree of education they have received. And finally, we can conclude that the main reason that directly and indirectly influences the deterioration of the more areas is the umbrella activity of human beings. There is no control by the authorities, and the consequence of the damage are becoming increasing irreversible.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation, Juan. As I was saying, it is very important to see what the main problems of the moorlands are in our city, because well, we're in a part of the planet of this country where we are privileged to have the landscape of the Nevada del Ruiz and all of these moorlands that we have going up our city. And I think it is also part of our responsibility to learn to take care of them. Unless if we don't do it, they're probably gonna stop existing in the next few years. Right, Juan, I'm going to send a message to you in the private chat with my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. Thank you very much for your presentation once again. And now, guys, we're going to continue with the next presentation of the night, which will be done by Natalia. She will be talking about the immigration. So, Nata, the stage is all yours. Please go on.
Good evening. My name is Natalia Munoz, and I am going to talk about a topic which I think everyone has talked about maybe once because they have considered this as a life option, or maybe because they have relatives or friends who have made this life decision. And the topic, as you can see on my screen, is immigration. And the first question that can come up is, why do people immigrate? And I can see that there are a number of reasons why a person makes this life decision. But this have to be because the situation and the circumstances the person is living. I consider that the most important aspect is because the person is trying to reach their goals. And to achieve that, they are looking for new opportunities, new challenges, new adventures, and some of them immigrate because they want to start studying or continue studying, working, doing businesses, making money, and have a better quality of life. And so everything depends on the life project every person has and the way people see life. Immigration as a global issue. Immigration is seen as a global issue because it shows how unequal our world is. And it also shows the problems many countries have, especially the underdeveloped countries. And this can affect the countries that receive the immigrants as well, because many of the immigrants immigrate in an illegal way, which has become a big issue for some developed countries due to they cannot control that people and the jobs they are getting. So everything gets harder for the people who made that decision. That's why those countries usually have to create a strong immigration policies in order to stop the problem. And this is a real issue because many people leave their countries because they couldn't find opportunities to reach their life project, or maybe because they are in danger and they are looking for peace. This also increases other problems such as racism and discriminations, and this can affect both parts, the countries and the immigrants as well. So I consider that when a person makes this decision, it's better to do all the process in a legal way, trying to find a country where they can find everything they are looking for, and also a country where is open for immigrants. Points a person faces when immigrates. Well, in the immigration process, every person faces different things because it depends on their personalities and the country they choose. However, when it comes to immigration, there are some points which I think always every person faces. The most important is that every immigrant has to start their life from scratch. And this is the most difficult because they have to face a cultural shock and they have to learn a new language. No matter the country they choose, the person will always have to change some aspects of their lives. For instance, the food, the weather, the manners, the costumes, and the way people see life. And something many people don't think before making this decision is that when they arrive to a new country, they may leave their profession and they will have to start working in some fields that they have never done before. And this can cause depression, frustration, disappointment. But people also have to leave other things behind that are really important. For example, their families, their friends, their costumes, and everything they are used to. So it's difficult, it's a difficult process. As a conclusion, I can say that the immigration process is a learning journey in which every person faces different situations and challenges in order to reach their goals. But this can become their resilient and stronger. The person who makes the decisions, these decisions will struggle with different situations, but at the end, people will become a better version of themselves. I will always recommend to everyone who wants to make this step to do a lot of research before moving to another country. Also to choose a country which can offer what they are looking for and to be prepared for the difficult situations they are going to face. So, thank you. I'm finished.
Thank you very much for your presentation, Nata. I think this is a very important topic in these current days, especially in our country. You guys have been noticing that while immigration has become something very common in these last governments, so I think that it is important to see it from a more human way and to see all the aspects that are behind it, to really see immigrant people as real human people, and to also put in the shoes of a person that can immigrate maybe to a place with better opportunities or not, and see that it is not always easy. So once again, thank you very much for your presentation. I'm going to send you a private message in the chat with my feedback on your presentation as well as my grade on it. For now, guys, we're going to continue with the next presentation of the night. So now we're going to have a presentation by Laura. She will be talking about global warming. So Laura, please go on. The stage is all yours.
Okay, hello. My name is Laura Londoño Valencia. My camera doesn't work. That is why I don't have it on. Okay. In this presentation, I will talk about global warming. It is cause and consequence. Okay, what is global warming? Do you know what global warming is? Okay, global warming is the increase in the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and ocean superface. The potential impact of global warming is immense. So global warming is one of the biggest problems we face as a society. Okay, we as human beings are responsible for global warming by the way we act and think. One of the causes of global warming is deforestation. Deforestation can be caused by the activities we humans. For example, massive logging is the biggest problem of deforestation because it damages the ecosystem. The trees and the animals that live in the forest lose their home. This problem is one of those that we should pay more attention to, since forests generate oxygen and are the love of the planet. Okay, a consequence of global warming is overpopulation. The overpopulation is due to human increase the number of birds every day and increase immigration. Overpopulation generates a decrease in the quality of life. such as poverty, increased population higher, higher employment, higher engineering, consumption, water pollution, and generates conflict among us. Another cause is global warming is reflected in water, whether in the seas or in rivers. This phenomenon manifests itself in the fall or droughts, floods, melting glaciers, and water pollution. For example, human polluted water through factories or the amount of gadgets we generate every day. Okay, another example is the melting of glaciers. This is generated thanks to high temperature of the planet. I make is glaciers melt and the sea level rises, and this could cause floods. This problem is the most serious we have because without water we could not live. Water is essential for our life, so we should take care of it more. Okay, these were some of the most dangerous causes of global warming that seem to me. And that's it.
Alrighty, thank you very much for your presentation, Laura. I think it is very, very important to take all of this into account. I think that it is the biggest threat that we have from here in the future. Global warming can really be a problem. Well, it is already a problem in this moment, so it is good to see what are the causes and how we can help to diminish its consequence. So, dear Laura, I'm going to send you a message in the chat with my feedback on your presentation as well as my grade. There it is. Thank you very much for your presentation once again. And for now, we're going to continue with the next presentation of the night that will be given by Ruben Sierra. He will be talking about how music improves mental health. So, Ruben, the stage is all yours. Please go on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ruben Darío Sierra Gutierrez. I'm an upper intermediate D-level student of the Centro Colombo Americana. I'm going to share with you my presentation about how music therapy improves our mental health. So let me show you my screen, my wide screen. Okay. So I would like to begin with this quote, which is from Confucius, and that said that music produces a kind of pleasure which human nature cannot do without. That is to say that human beings, we cannot live without this gift of music, of being in touch with music. For mankind, we are always being in touch, in contact with music since the early stages of our mankind, of our humanity. Music has been very important because that is one of the way that people has used to interchange their ideas, to communicate their achievements, their historical events. So this has been very important for history of mankind. And also it has been very important because it has a wide and a great psychological effect on our society, since music has that power and that possibility to recreate some of the things that we as human beings need to cope with our existence, to endure and to get through difficult situations, because music has that power to produce those feelings that sometimes we need in our life, like happiness, like calmness, like tranquility. And even when we need to boost some energy to do our things, it's very important that we can get that sensation, that feeling from some part, in this case, from music. So having said that about the importance of music on our psychological aspect, I would like to mention some of the aspects according to the importance of music in our education, not only as a musical education, like in the academy, like formal education, but also if we had the opportunity to open our our hearts and our souls to be in touch with the music and what music can bring to us. So I would like to mention some aspects, some social aspects that are very important to all of us. We have some of personal advantages could be better perseverance, better attentiveness, increased creativity, better study habits, more enjoyment, and increased self-esteem, as well as encourage communication and teamwork. We in this picture, we have some information about punctual things related to the effects on our brain, on our health, that I'm going to talk a little bit later. Using this image, these images are from me because with this topic that I'm sharing with you, I have like an intention to give some evidence, some testimony that all that information that I'm giving to you, it's true. And it's true because I have experienced that power of music in my life. I have to say that my background, my academic background is in business and public administration. But since I was a teenager, I was very close to music, and not because I have to start playing instrument like in a formal way, like in an academy, but because I love to hear music all the time. And I think that as a consequence of that passion for music, I had the opportunity to develop other skills related to languages, because all of the time I was listening music in English and even in French or in other languages. I think that kind of of hearing training helped me a lot to understand a little bit better my own language and other foreign languages. Another positive consequence of being in touch with the music is like, well, I was or I am a self-taught musician. So I remember that I spent hours and hours practicing and trying to play the songs I love in that moment. So I start to train, trying to learn to play the guitar, and then I try to learn to play the drums, and all of the things was so easy, you know, to do and to learn, because I had all the information in my head, because I always was listening to music and paying attention to those songs, those bands, and those artists that play so well, and the music brings so that energy and so that the passion and emotion that really gets to my heart and to my life, and it really helped me a lot with some other instances of some other scenarios in my life that I'm going to share with you. These are some of the benefits of music in child development. As I told you, my very first touch with music was when I was a teenager. So I really I didn't have the opportunity to receive that exposure to music when I was a little child. But I think that when I really started to study and to learn a little bit more about music, I started to be more attentive and to improve some of the skills that I had already worked on it. I have some of the examples, well, trying to use the information that is on this picture. Early language development, of course, because as I said before, I was always listening to artists, music that was in English, so my ear was kind of prepared to study a formal learning of language. An increased ability to learn foreign language, physical endurance, that is true. Not only as a musician, as a drummer, because when I had to play drums, you have to put on it so much energy and so much stamina that sometimes you have the sensation that you're not going to play a whole gig, for example. But it's just a higher motivation to do it. Improve mood and emotional regulation, that is so true, because when you are studying and practicing your instrument, one of the conditions is to be very patient and disciplined, because you have to play again and again the same chords as an exercise. So it's kind of extreme training to develop those abilities. Of course, improve memory and concentration. And I think that as a consequences of that mixture is, to gain some self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-expression. Now I would like to talk about some of the situations that happens into your brain when you have the opportunity to bring music to your life and to your scheme, to your way of thinking. In your brain, you know that we have like a kind of laboratory inside our brains. So music has a power to release endorphins, to produce oxytocin, and to release dopamine and some other substances that are very important for you to feel happier, to feel with patience, with calmness, to manage some frustration over some situations that are really so hard to deal with. Of course, increases neural plasticity because your brain is always like a big sponge that are always soak on or receiving all kind of information that I think that you can understand a little bit faster and a little bit better. These are another health benefits that some of them I would like to share with you. Work out harder. Nowadays, I'm also a big fan of sports. Primarily, I'm a biker. I like to do some mountain biking, and I always try to put some music while I'm practicing this sport. And I really feel that when I'm listening to the right music in that moment, I think that my stamina and my strength is a little, it lasts a little bit more. So, and that is true also. Live music, I would like to talk about live music because even when I am in the stage, or I'm just in attendance to a live music, the energy that is all over the place and the people and with the linings and the sound it's a very joyful experience that always make me so happy. Well, these are another information about the benefits of being in contact with music. That, well, most of the information I think that I already shared. Finally, I would like to end this presentation with a quote, that a sentence very beautiful from Albert Einstein. And it says that if I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think of music. I live my daydreams. Music is in my life in terms of music. I cannot tell if I would have done any creative work of importance in music, but I do know that I get most joy in life out of my violin. Really touched with this sentence because, as I already told you, as a professional, I'm in other fields, in an administrative field. But I think that it wasn't because the music is in my life. It would be very difficult that I couldn't get through most for some problems that I've been through, and I think that music has been a great motivator and that music has helped me a lot to succeed in life. And well, finally, I have the sources that I use to share this information to you. So thanks a lot. I hope that you have enjoyed this information. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you very much for your great presentation, Ruben. What you're saying is totally fine. Music is a very essential part in mental health. It can help you improve your mood. It can help you learn languages. It can help you just increase your vibes of the day. So it is always good to make it a part of our daily routine. So now I'm going to send you a message in the private chat with my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. Thank you very much once again. And now we're going to continue with the presentation of Mateo Torres. So please go on, Matthew.
One sec. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay.
All right. I also will keep my camera turned off because I have it damaged, so I cannot, yeah, turn it on. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the importance of the HVAC units. Probably you are thinking what HVAC stands for, and basically it means heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So I'm going to talk about this problematic. I don't know if, I mean, have you ever thought about the problems that some countries worldwide are facing with the extreme temperatures due to the weather condition? Because actually, I'm gonna base on USA because we think that we are not lucky living here, that we have many problems, but regarding the weather conditions, yes, we are lucky because most of the time we are not facing extreme temperatures like heavy hot air or heat wave that hits our home and that could be not as comfortable as we think. So basically I'm thinking that we are really lucky because we don't have to face that kind of problems. Also, I'm going to talk about the HVAC regarding the functionality and how they work from the perspective of an HVAC employee, because basically it's my work right now. So then we're gonna have one of the principal factors that could be, I mean, the principal factors that made harder or made the problem bigger. So I will say that since a lot of time the houses were made, I mean, are pre-made. So that could be a huge problem or problematic on the life of each American because it's not the same living on a modular house with a normal temperature than living on a wooden house with 90 degrees. And that could be a problem. You wouldn't be comfortable at your home unless you have an HP on your home. So basically, it's also the distribution because the HVAC units used to have these ducts, like the ductwork, that supplies the air all over the home. So it depends. We can see it here that we have a thermostat, and they can choose what they want to have at their homes. If they want to have hot air, if they want to have cold air, but it depends on the season. So basically, I'm saying that the pre-made houses are a big problem regarding the temperatures of the home. Then we're gonna have the illnesses. So the problem of this is that if you don't have HVAC unit on your home that could keep warm or cold the home, you're gonna face couple problems. So it could have many illnesses. I mean, you can have many illnesses. Regarding the cold, you can have seasonal allergies, also could be bronchitis and pneumonia. Also, you can have gastroenteritis or seasonal flu. Then talking about the symptoms that you can face on hot weather without having a air conditioning unit, you will suffer of heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and hyperthermia. And I'm just talking about some of them because you can face many others. So we can see that it's really important for the human body being on a normal temperature, to say it in that way. Then we're gonna have the hot weather. Okay, so here I have some, I mean, I just put some images. We can see that this one is an air conditioning unit and this one is a heat pump. So what is the difference of they both? Basically, we can see that they both are split systems, but actually the air conditioning unit is a split system and the air handler with heat pump is an air-to-air unit. So how does it work? Basically, we can see that, I mean, due to the ducts that are all over the home, the unit, I mean, you can switch by using the thermostat, the outside unit, the condenser unit, or the inside one. So it depends on the season. If it's really hot at your home, you can use the air conditioning unit to keep cold the house. Through the vents, I mean, all over the walls, you will see vents distributed all over the home. So you can, I mean, the air of the home is gonna be changed depending on what is the unit that is working at home. So we can see that through the vents, the air of the home is gonna be changed or replaced for a hot or a cold air that is going to be, I mean, that is going to be supplied through the registers. Then we're gonna have for the cold weather the inside unit. In this case, we can see that I just put a furnace and I also put air handler. So this is how it works. Actually, this is the registers. And let's say that it's really hot at home. So you, I mean, the unit, what the unit does is take all that cold, I mean, hot air and change it. In this case, we are saying that it's cold. So yeah, we can see that it's cold air, and the unit is gonna take all that cold air, is gonna make all the process, and then it's gonna throw hot air. And in that way, you're gonna keep the house warm and you're gonna be comfortably at home. So most of the time as kids, we thought that, I mean, we wish to have a travel in which we can see the snow and enjoy it, but we don't know the importance of, yeah, the background, you know, having that kind of stuff at home, because it's not safe being exposed of high or low temperatures outside. So also we can see that this is the condenser unit. We see that it's connected through the drain line and the line set to the coil. What is the coil? The coil is a vital part of split systems, which makes that if the unit is taking the air of the home, and actually here is done the, I mean, it is where it stops. Here is which, I mean, here is with the, I mean, the drain line is gonna transport or supply the refrigerant. Most of the time, the unit used to use refrigerant to make, I mean, to make work the system. So it is going to supply all the refrigerant to fill the coil. Then this hot air is gonna be transformed to cold air. And in that way, you can switch to cold to hot air through the seasons. Okay, so now, what is the main problem that I see? Oh, let me go back. What is the main problem that I see from these units? That is not only to have high or low temperatures at home, it's also that those units used to cost a lot. Most of the people from America, I mean, from USA, used to spend a lot of money on this kind of stuff. We are talking about around $10,000 and $700, the whole system to have a inside and an outside unit. Also, we are saying here, I mean, we're seeing here that we can have a straight cool or a split system. See, I mean, from my point of view, I will say that split systems are better than systems that could be only, I mean, that could be straight, like a package unit. Actually, I don't have any picture here, but a package unit is like a condenser unit and an inside unit all in once. It's like all in the same part and used to be outside. So basically, if any part is damaged, it wouldn't be in, if you, I mean, if unfortunately it is an unrepairable damage, you will need to replace the whole unit and spend a lot of money. That, yeah, is not that good. And from the other hand, we can see that if we have a split system, if you have a damage on the condenser unit, you will keep using the inside one. So I see an advantage of the split systems because you don't have to replace the whole system by only having one of them damaged. So I see that advantage of the split systems. Then, yeah, regarding this, what do Americans, American people do once they have a problem or a damage at their homes? Basically, if you're a homeowner, you're gonna have to sign a home warranty, and the home warranty the home warranty is like a support in order to avoid to pay a lot of money for repairs of your home. So that's another problem, as I said before. If you have if you have damages on the unit, if you don't have a home warranty, you will need to pay a lot of money. Also, it depends on the contract that you have with them. It's not the same if you pay like $50 per month than paying $100 per month, because it's gonna cover more than the $50 one. Also, most of the Americans used to pay monthly. We can see here that couple home warranties from 2020, best overall, the AFC Home Club, the runner-up best overall American residential warranty. We can see some of them, and what it makes is like, it will help you to save money, because let's say that you have a big damage on the unit, that the coil, which is a really important component, gets damaged. You will need to pay an out-of-pocket cost for half of the price that it should be paying by yourself. So basically, that's the home warranties are really worth it if you have a home. If you own a property in the United States. So to conclude, I would say that we are really lucky because we don't have to face that kind of problems. We have tropical weather, also we have hot weather, but it's not the same because we can buy for $400 an air conditioning system that is gonna keep cold the our houses. But living in the US, if you don't have enough money to keep your house warm or cold, it's gonna be really expensive. You know, if you own a home, you will need to pay monthly, you will need to pay the pre-maintenance and all of that. So basically that's the problem that I see, but also the bright side of living on a country in which, where the weather conditions are better than other ones. So that's gonna be all. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew. It is good to see the kind of HVAC units that we can buy depending on our needs. And as you were saying, well, we're kind of fortunate to have the weather conditions that we have. If you see, because we're in tropical weather, you don't see those many houses that have this kind of air conditioning units. But still, there are some places with extreme weather where they are necessary. So it's good to find the differences and to see what the best options are. Thank you very much for your presentation. I just sent you a message in the private chat for you to see my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. And for now, we're going to continue with the last presentation of the night that will be given by John Gomez. I think you're going to be talking about the different kinds of bicycles, right?
Yeah, teacher.
Stage is yours, please go on.
One moment, please. One moment, please. I'm going to share. I have opened a lot of windows. I need close someone to share the screen. Yeah, okay. Hi, everybody. I am John Gomez. I am talk about the bikes, their use and their difference. If someone is thinking about buying a new bike, my information can help to make a decision. Firstly, I am going to talk about the main bikes categories. The main categories are the road bike, mountain bike, urban bike. To start, road bikes. The road bikes are aerodynamic, fast, and light. This category subdivide in the gravel and triathlon bikes. The difference between the road bikes is the geometry and their components. Then the other category is the mountain bikes. That mountain bike is strong to all the roads. In that mountain bikes, there are two principal categories, the hard trail and the double suspension. The hard trail have only one suspension in the front part, and the double suspension have double suspension. Urban bikes. The urban bikes is the bikes to use to go to the work, to the house, or to the gym. The e-bikes is a new category, the bikes. In that category, the e-bikes, there are road bikes, mountain bikes, and urban bikes. There is a Creo, there is Como and Leo. Continue with the bike parts. To understand the difference between the road bikes, mountain bikes, and hero bikes, is necessary understand the bike parts. Start with the frame. The frame is that part. Then the fork. The fork is that part. The hand leather is that part. The wheels is that. The tires is that. The crankset is cassette, chain, the lever, and chief leather is the transmission bicycle. The principal difference between these categories are the frame, the geometry frame. For example, this is a urban bike. The urban bike, there is a suspension. The fork is rigid. Is a fast bicycle. These have hydraulic brakes. The road bicycle doesn't have the suspension too. Is when the bicycle there isn't a suspension, is more faster and more lighter. If for example the mountain bike have two suspensions and the tires have more texture. For example, the road bikes, the texture is there isn't texture for road faster, and the mountain bike have more texture to have grip in the mountain. The uses to the road bike is used to the roads on the highway, and the urban is used to the city, and the mountain bike is used to the trails, and can be used in the on the all terrains. In the mountain bike, there are two principal categories. In that bicycle is used to go down for the downhill or enduro. For that reason, this bicycle have strong tires and with high texture. And the hard trail bicycle, there is a suspension only, is a more faster than the sports downhill. No more, teacher. This is my presentation.
Alrighty, thank you very much for your presentation. I think it is very interesting for people who might be thinking about buying their next bicycle. It is always good to see what the best use for what you need is. Now, thank you very much for your presentation, John. I'm going to send you a message in the private chat with my feedback on your presentation as well as your grade. Alrighty, guys, we have come to the conclusion of this series of presentations. For the people who were watching at home, thank you very much for taking your time. And as you guys could see, these are the communicative skills that you guys will be able to have when you guys get to the last mandatory level of the Colombo. Once again, thank you very much for your attention, for being this amazing audience. And now I'm going to finish the streaming session right now. Bye-bye, everybody.